Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz, your host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about Andrus Peat, Michael Gallup, Jalen Guyton, and one of the common segments that I like to do during the NFL draft, during free agency, is kind of break down some of the grades. So I want you to think of this as like the latest Raiders rumors from the signings of those three players. Then I'm going to give my grade, and then with every single signing that happens, there are winners, there are losers. So we got a jam-packed segment. That is all in the very, very first show that I'm going to do today. Then I had somebody ask me the other day, Mitch, you always talk about the different position groups. You always talk about, the 53-man roster. Could you potentially rank all of the position groups together? So today we're going to be working our way. I have them all sectioned off as 12 groups, okay? So wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, interior offensive linemen, defensive ends, defensive tackles, all those positions. I have them ranked from 12 down to 1. And I also tell you how confident I am in that group 0 to 100. Then more Raiders free agency rumors around certain players that Bleacher Report believes the silver and black should sign. And his magenta shirt, definitely not pink, Jeremy Chuggs here on the Raiders Report.
Every time I wear this shirt, I'm going to ask you, what is it? Is it pink or is it maroon? Type P for pink, M for maroon. Let me know down in the comment section. Is it pink? Is it maroon? It's pink.
It couldn't be more maroon, in fact.
It's pink.
I can't wrap my mind around it.
I walked in, I said, wow, that shirt, that's a pink shirt.
Is that Phillies hat out there pink or maroon?
That is the most pink shirt I've ever seen. If anybody knows pink, it's me. I know pink.
Yeah.
This is a pink shirt.
Just make sure you're not grabbing anything pink. Out of the three players that you see up on screen, who's the best signing?
I grabbed him by the shirt.
You can't do that and with this. You have to do it without that. That's the rule.
Whenever I walked in, I said, wow, I'm going to grab him by the shirt. That's a pink shirt. I absolutely love pink.
I know pink, two in the pink, one in the same.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'll tell you that. Also, Jeremy can't do that impersonation without having T-Rex arms. I've also learned that. If you put your hands on the table, rumor has it, you sound like Biden.
If I'm a T-Rex, you're a Brontosaurus.
What does that mean? I guess, I think if you were a dinosaur, you'd
King Rex.
You'd be a mega...
King of the jungle. That's me. Number one, the king.
I was thinking Megasaur ass. Best signing, type M for Michael Gallup, J for Jalen Guyton, A for Andrus Peat, Mitchell Renz Jeremy Chuggs. Sometimes you're going to get some shenanigans here on the Raiders Report, but we do have a jam-packed show, and I want to know from the nation, out of these three players that have signed after the NFL draft, there is still one open roster spot, so maybe this team could decide to make a move. Let me know which one you like the most. Juan Hernandez says Michael Gallup. Jerry says Andrus Peat, which right now I'm looking at the live poll, and if you haven't voted yet, please make sure that you do so. 51% say Peat, 41% say Gallup, 8% say Jalen Guyton, which I don't know if I've seen any Guytons in the comments. Ron Raspberry, what's up, my man? King Shav.
It's definitely the least sexy of the signings.
Sure, I agree with that. However, though, if you were to tell me, which is kind of funny because Michael Gallup can be good, needs to stay healthy. Jalen Guyton can stretch the field, needs to stay healthy. Andrus Peat can be good, needs to stay healthy.
And also, you have to remember, whenever these guys were signed, anybody that gets signed in free agency after the draft, it's like being at the bar at 1:45 a.m.
Sure.
Your choices are very limited. It's very much like who's out at the bar at 1:45 a.m.
Closing times playing.
It's usually not the dimes that are there at 1:45 a.m. It's usually like you're like, do I want super drunk, daddy issues, or this? Like there's a red flag with everybody there.
Or Jalen Guyton. I mean, like that's kind of what we're looking at here. But I will say this, if all three of these players are able to stay healthy, and if you're Las Vegas, you go, well, at least one out of the three has got to be somewhat healthy this upcoming season. And I think I'll give you my answer of which one I think is the best signing. That's kind of what the very first segment is all around. Sienna believes that it's Michael Gallup. What up, Sienna? Noah Santana also says Michael Gallup. How about this then? Since the next segment that we're going to be doing here on the show is around Raiders position groups, which position group is the best for the Raiders this season? So when I say this out loud, it's like, do you think defensive tackle's the top unit? Do you think that wide receiver's the top unit? Is tight end? Is, I don't know,
punter.
Defensive end? Special teams?
Oh, Special teams, special plays.
I put Daniel
special
Carlson
players.
and AJ Cole together. Special teams.
I'm going special teams.
So with special teams, though, it's also punt returner, kick returner, and long snapper.
Give me Bobbin Moyer. Come on.
Dude, I wish Trent Sieg was still part of this.
Give me
team,
the
man.
Bobbin and give me the Moyer.
I'll take the Bobbin Moyer. I see somebody said DY. I don't know what that means. Defensive tackle from Hector. All right, there we go. Peter Ramirez says wide receiver. Raspberry says DT and wide receiver. Jesse's going to go with the tight end position, the defensive line from Mr. Sane. See, I didn't do defensive line because if I was going to do offensive tackles and interior offensive line, I also wanted to do defensive tackle, defensive end.
Sienna knows what's up. If you agree with me, put up the ones.
Yeah, get
special
the ones
teams. Special teams Tuesday.
I mean, Crosby's the best player, but that doesn't necessarily mean that defensive end is the position that you're the most confident in. I'm seeing a lot of wide receivers, some tight ends in there from Texans versus Mexicans. Chuggs, which position group? What?
Just that name is just hilarious.
I mean, there definitely are certain names where there's going to be a day you and I are going to be out in Vegas and some guy's going to be like, yo, man, what's up? I watch your show all the time. Oh, what's your YouTube name? Oh, I'm Texans versus Mexicans. You're going to be like, no effing way.
What's up, brother?
I mean, I do always like, I low-key do enjoy when you meet somebody and then one of y'all are like, hey, this is my YouTube name, and right off the jump, like I know it right away. There's definitely been times where it's like, I don't really know that one.
I think it's PG 2869.
Yep.
When we were in Vegas at that event before the Steelers game, he comes up to me. His icon is a P.
Yeah.
And he goes,
"What's up?"
He goes, "It's me." I go, "Hey,
Hey.
who are you?" He's like, "PG." I was like, "You look nothing like your picture. You look more like a letter in your picture. Now
That's like
you look like an actual person."
that was like that thing that we talked about earlier today. PG's like, I look like what's between O and then the two parentheses signs on the keyboard. That's me. That's what I look like. Now I got it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you guys my answer, though. I will say I think the position group that I'm the least confident in is going to surprise some people.
Yeah.
I do think that the position group that I'm the least confident in will shock some people out there. But I'll also say this, like, going through this Raiders roster, it's clear to me that we are getting better. And I know that a lot of people are kind of hating on what the Raiders did in terms of the draft, not getting a quarterback. But, like, looking at this roster and knowing the roster from last season compared to this season, I mean, I am amazed on how much more confident I am in this year's roster compared to last year's roster. Jeremy said we're going to do a $10 50-50 raffle. We want to get more people in this one.
For all you ratchet hoes out there.
Yeah?
Doing the 10.
For a $10 raffle race. If you want to get in, I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. And you know what, Jeremy? First person to do it, you're getting 2 entries. Actually, you know what? Nah, F that. The first 2 people, you're going to get a free entry. I want to get this race spiced up a little bit. I want it to be like, I mean, we haven't had a race where we've had like 50 people in a long time.
That's why I did it at 10. I wanted to get more people. Yesterday it was okay. I mean, we had like 20 people, so it's not bad, but like I want to get into a race. There's 432 people in here. I want half the people in the race.
Yeah? That would be
electric. Imagine a 200-person race on a Tuesday.
On a what?
On a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday. That's not how I pictured you saying
Going
it.
up on a Tuesday.
Dude, what a great song. Shout out to
it's
the
like
weekend.
Millennials, like whenever they think of Tuesday, it's like going up on a Tuesday. And then Gen X, Gen Z, it's like Tuesday.
Yeah. That's it's true.
It's just
He's
like
not wrong.
It's just like when you ask kids. So if I was like, hey, if you're like, doing charades and you have to do a phone, what would you do?
See, you've told me this, so I don't want to spoil it. You've told me this before.
No, just show us. What would you do if you were saying a phone? Kids now, they go like this.
Yeah.
This is their phone.
Yeah.
Like if they're like playing like make-believe or whatever and they're making a call, they're like, hello?
I mean, that's true, though.
That's wild.
That's insane. That makes me almost feel like I can't hear you. I'm putting my earpiece in.
My mom was like this. She said the 2. She had the little ear thing in the mouth.
Honestly, that doesn't look good.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Halfway through, I was like, I think
I'm looking at that.
I think I'm regretting
screen,
this.
and I'm like,
I think I'm regretting.
I don't know what your mom's first job was, but I'm not sure if telemarketing was.
Did
the
you ever
right
watch?
job.
What's it called?
Holy shit.
Oktoberfest with the grandma.
Oh Christ, yeah! What a great movie.
So, does anybody want sausages?
The best part of that movie is she's like, oh yeah, we could fit like 9 inches, and she just like starts trying to do it. She's like, whoa, grandma, easy.
He's got the eye of the Jew.
You can say that, not me. Remember, y'all, $10 Venmo gets you in for our duck race, and so far so good. We actually have a good amount of people that are getting into this one, which does make me very happy. So remember, the first 2 people that are in, I'm going to give you the extra spot. So the first one was 93 Navman, which I'm not going to lie, am amazed the fact that Navman was able to do that quick. I mean, if anything, Navman, that's just proven that your ability and with technology is getting a little bit better here. James Guevara, he's going to get an extra one, but James also wanted an extra one no matter what. So Guevara is going to be in multiple times. Then I see we got Brandon Higgins. Also, if you could, Chuggs, give some shout-outs to the people answering this question.
Let's see.
One of the players that we're going to talk about today is Yannick
Evil
Ngakoue.
Mitch and Evil Chuggs, both
Yikes.
in the comment section right now.
That's devastating.
Juan Hernandez, Rodrigo Campos. I got Cloud, Ron Raspberry, Chris Breezy, Ryan Barbosa. We got Sean Benoit, DJ Johnson, 93 Navman, King Higgins. We've got, let's see, Jake Serb, Miggy Camacho. I've got Texans versus Mexicans, James Guevara, King Javier, Aidan O'Brady, Chad Refrigerator Robinson, Jay Eric, Jose Huertas.
Do you know why they're calling him that?
What?
Aidan O'Brady.
Yeah.
Why?
Number change.
Okay, I didn't know if you knew. We didn't really talk about it on here, which there's definitely one person that's watching this show right now. They're like, they claim that they talk all things Raiders, and they didn't tell us that Aidan O'Connell changed his number to 12.
Yeah.
I only say that because I did get that DM, and I'm like, you got to be shitting me.
That must make Lord Buddy Bear very happy. Ratchet Raider 805, your mom's favorite skater, Ben Breeslin, Running with Scissors, all.
I think the only skater my mom would legitimately be able to name is Tony Hawk. And even that, there's a coin flip of a chance that that's happening.
No way she would be able to pick him out in a crowd.
Who?
Tony Hawk.
I don't even know if she could pick me out in a crowd. My mom, I love her to death, and I know she's not watching, so I can say this. There's definitely, she is that true, blonde moment. I mean, she has some times where it's just, it's unbelievable, which some of y'all are watching, all right, so the apple doesn't fall very far, but, I'm telling you right now, there are some times you're like, that's unbelievable. That's absolutely unbelievable. All right, Salvador Luna, you are in. The New York Giants just claimed Nathan Rourke. I don't even know who that is. Quarterback.
Who?
Rob Fravor is in,
nice.
And then Rob Fravor again is in. So, Chuggs, as it stands right now, $10 Venmo for the opportunity to win $110. We have 22 people in. 22 people in, $10 Venmo right now for a chance to win $110. We're going to do that at the very end of the Raiders report.
11x your money right now. $10 to win $120.
Good. That's it's not bad. I'll tell you that. All right, how about this? Let's get into the first segment coming up here on today's show. And remember, if anybody wants to get any questions on the show, hashtag Raiders or Super Chat. It's going to be the easiest way for us to be able to put you up on screen and interact with us. Sancho says, shout out to the moms. Hard to believe Mother's Day's this Sunday. This Sunday and apparently the NBA draft lottery, which yet again just shows that the NBA has no idea what they're doing.
NBA doesn't care about moms. You know who does? Me, your boy.
Unbelievable. Raphael, Yannick would be a solid depth.
I have the best mom.
We'll talk about him here on today's show. It just comes down to the money.
Your mom has nothing on my mom. I have the best mom.
You know what
your mom's a dog. Call her Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh my Lord. That's too far. For the reference, Chuggs didn't make that up. That's already been said by somebody who sounds just like that. I know maybe you never had this problem, or maybe no one ever said it to you. It was like, oh, like my dad could beat up your dad type of thing. What if they said that about moms? Like, my mom could beat up your mom. You think people say that? No?
Probably not, no.
No? That's probably a good thing, I guess. Coming up live here on today's show, let's talk about the 3 players that the Raiders have signed after the NFL draft.
I do know one of my favorite old crappy TV shows that I used to watch was Yo Mama with Wilder Valderrama.
Oh, dude, that's an elite show. I also love this comment here from CR1ZZ. That's not Trump. That's Chump.
That's a good one.
I like that. That's Chump. When you talk like that, I'm going to call you Chump. Chump.
Making the Raiders great again.
Oh,
we've been bad for years. We've been under bad ownership. It's time for a new regime, a.k.a. me. Make the Raiders good again. Make the Raiders great again. Who remembers the old times? Bring back Rich Gannon.
If you want Jeremy to stop doing that, spam me down below.
Bring back Rich Gannon. Bring back Derek Carr.
Spam me down below if you want him to stop. Though, final thing I'll say real quick. There's been a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors around Dak. I saw somebody just say Dak down below. Bro, I'm telling you right now, a lot of speculation that the Raiders are building something for next year.
Interesting. If only anybody on the Raiders report had mentioned that, or
I'm just telling you, if the Raiders end up with Dak next season, the amount of people that are going to be coming here blaming you, blaming us, there's going to be a lot of people.
I'm just saying, some people know ball, some people don't.
Some people know ball, some people don't.
That's it.
What up, Miggy? What up, Rodolfo? Scott, Abby, Cloud, Texans versus Mexicans said, hey, let's get this show on the road. So coming up here, the first segment's kind of a jam-packed one. It's all around the 3 signings that the Raiders made, and then I'm going to grade them, break down the biggest winners or losers, and then tell you which one's my favorite. What?
Somebody just said celebrity death match with moms, and it made me think, you remember that old MTV show where it was like, you had like an MMA fighter beat up your bully?
Yeah, bully beatdown.
Yeah, bully beatdown. You and your mom are arguing, you just have your mom fight a women's UFC fighter?
Holy shit. That wouldn't go
My
well.
mom took away my PS5. So now she's going to fight
Ronda Rousey. That'll teach her a lesson. Never take that away again.
She's going to fight Amanda Nunes this weekend.
Dude, I mean, that show would break the internet. I'm not even kidding you. That would break the internet in so many ways.
All right, let's talk
Hopefully,
about it.
so we don't break the internet.
Let's do some stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about the Raiders. Let's go. Here we go. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz, your host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about the 3 moves that the Raiders made after the 2024 NFL Draft. They signed Michael Gallup. They signed Jalen Guyton. They also signed Andrus Peat. This week, Monday, was Guyton and Peat. Gallup was last week. What we're going to be doing is I'm going to be breaking down grades for each signing. So a lot of times this is a segment that I like to do after free agency, after the draft, and you look at the players that you drafted, that you signed in free agency. I'm going to kind of do that own spin only with these 3 players here. On top of that, I'm also going to talk about the biggest winners and losers, because the signing of Gallup, it impacts current Raiders players. The signing of Jalen Guyton, it impacts current Raiders players. The signing of Andrus Peat, it impacts current Raiders players. So that's all coming up here on today's show. I'm also going to tell you, out of these 3 names, which one I like the most. If you want to join Raider Nation, hey, man, hit that subscribe button. If you're a real one for life, spam RO4L down below, and make sure that you got those notifications turned on. People that I know for a fact are part of the real ones. People that I know for a fact are part of the Noti gang. These are people that I know are always watching the stuff, and when breaking news happens, they're sitting here, they're tuning in, they're watching. Because here's the thing, if you don't know that the Raiders signed those 3 players, it's probably because you're not subscribed to the Raiders Report. So take a second and make sure you click that sub button. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to go in order. I'm going to start with Gallup, then I'm going to go with Guyton, and then we're going to go with Peat here. If you don't know, the Raiders, they ended up signing Michael Gallup on April 29th. He had a visit same day that Jalen Guyton did also last week. The Raiders just made Gallup a little bit higher of that priority. I said it before when the Silver and Black did ink the former Cowboy receiver. that this deal being worth up to $3 million tells me that there weren't a lot of other NFL teams interested in Gallup. And one of the things that, Chuggs said during our live show on Tuesday, like, if you're signing players at this point after free agency, after the draft, I mean, let's be real. It's kind of like being at that bar at 1:45. You hear Jeremy starting to sing closing time, and you're looking around. You're like, I can't go home alone. So then you go out, you sign a guy like Michael Gallup, who, according to a Cowboy source close to us here, basically he's told us that, he's essentially just playing on one leg. And he's suffered a lot of different injuries, and it's a shame because before the injury, he was a little bit more of a vertical threat. He could run a lot more complete route tree. Now his routes being able to come back to the QB, definitely not a very strong suit for Gallup. But what's interesting is where exactly he is going to fit. Yes, he is the wide receiver 3 on this offense, but he's not the third target in terms of receivers, if that makes sense. Brock Bowers is going to get more work than Michael Gallup, but I don't think Gallup's going to get more work than Jacoby Myers. He's definitely not going to get more work than Devontae Adams. And quite frankly, what you're hoping here is which receiver out of the 4 that are pictured Guyton needs to be, or Gallup needs to be that 4th guy in overall targets. Again, he still needs to be able to stay healthy, and at 6'1", 200 pounds, one of the things that Antonio Pierce was looking for is, I think they were looking for a certain mold of receiver because Gallup and Guyton are both field stretchers, or at one point field stretchers, both at 6'1", both are around 210, 200 pounds overall, and definitely past their prime a little bit. But with this move here, to me, the winners and losers that popped up into my head were these. The reason why I have Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers as winners is because by adding Gallup, that kind of makes me believe that that's going to be the other top receiver, and I still believe that Mayer and Bowers end up getting more targets than a player like Gallup. Number 1 is Gardner Minshew and Aidan O'Connell, whoever ends up being that starting quarterback, because you're just getting more depth there at the receiver position. The losers are all wide receivers. This is more of just DJ Turner. I don't think he's going to make the roster now. Christian Wilkerson, definitely not going to make the roster now. And Trey Tucker, he is a vertical threat. I still think that he's going to have a bigger impact on special teams, but by going out and signing Gallup, it absolutely positively impacts Tucker's ability to get on the field just a little bit more. So when the Raiders sign Gallup to a deal worth up to $3 million, I am telling you now that I am going to give this a B- grade. If he can stay healthy, it's going to be a good addition, but I've also said on this show before that a surprise cut candidate can also be Gallup, because if you're looking at a dude who just simply can't stay on the field, can't stay healthy, if I'm Las Vegas, I'm going to end up keeping somebody else that I know for a fact, because what the Raiders need at receiver is depth. Very, very important. They know they got Devontae. They know they got Jacoby. They know that they have Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. What they need is guys that they can rely on for depth. And if they don't believe that that's Michael Gallup, then I don't know if he's going to end up making this roster. So out of the 3 names that you see right here, and this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, which means you're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. I want you to scroll on down. Let me know. Out of the 3 names, Gallup, Jalen Guyton, Andrus Peat, who is the best signing? Please let me know down below. This is usually the part of the show that I tell you exactly what I'm thinking, but guess what? I'm going to make you watch just a little bit longer. I got a grade coming up here for Guyton. I got a grade coming up here for Pete, and whichever I give the highest grade to, there you go. That's the signing that I end up liking the most. All right, so next thing that we got coming up here is we're going to be breaking down Jalen Guyton, but before I do, Mother's Day, y'all. Right around the corner, it's Sunday. Did you not know? If you didn't know, well, now you need to know. We got mom's jerseys, mom's t-shirts, we got tumblers, we got coffee holders. There are hundreds of different items. Also, there are certain items that are on sale. I don't know which ones exactly. You have to click on the link to find out. But if you go to chatsports.com/RaiderMom, you're going to be able to find some Raiders Mother's Day gift items. Don't get me wrong. You should also get mom some flowers. Maybe get her a bottle of wine or something like that. Or if you got that little Raiderette in your life, hey, don't be afraid to get her something special as well. Show her some love. I know Chuck doesn't know what he's going to get Alex yet, but I have a feeling he's going to probably be getting her some flowers and maybe a nice... Chuck said go to Raider MILF, though I don't know if Alex can technically be a Raider MILF. She is a dog mom. That's true. Chatsports.com/RaiderMilf is also available to anybody out there daring enough to go ahead and click on that link. All right, let's talk about Jalen Guyton now, a player that another dude who, another receiver, bit of a field stretcher. He ended up signing with the Silver and Black on May 6th. He's played with the Chargers and Telesco since 2017, and he's been a member of the AFC West for a very, very long time. And at one point was a reliable receiver for Justin Herbert, especially in that vertical passing attack. But he has tore his ACL in 2022. He had a groin injury last season, which has really hampered his ability to stay on the field. And a lot of times when you have that major knee injury at the ACL, it leads to some of those other lingering issues. Groin, hamstrings, you see them start to pop up here left and right. But one of the things that I think the Raiders did with Telesco and AP is they're like, all right, we're going to look for a field stretcher. What's the key word this offseason? They're also looking for a lot of competition. And Jalen Guyton and Michael Gallup are going to be battling to be able to find out which one of those receivers can be that wide receiver 3 behind Jacoby, behind Devontae. Like, I am still, like I said, putting Brock Bowers in this slot role. But, like, if you could have Guyton, and he's the faster receiver than Gallup right now, though Gallup's still probably a little bit better at those 50-50 balls, and it might just come down to who can run a more complete route tree when it's all said and done. In terms of the Guyton signing winners and losers, I'm going to keep the winners the exact same for all the exact same reasons that I said when I was talking about Gallup. For the loser side, I do think it changes a little bit simply because DJ Turner is going to stay at number 2. I do think Christian Wilkerson is a loser, but a lot of those UDFA wide receivers, maybe like a Tulu Griffin trying to make this roster. I mean, think about it. Telesco already has a connection with Guyton, and if you were a UDFA receiver and you saw somebody like Guyton come in here, and if he's able to stay healthy, the chances of you making this roster probably went down just a little bit. My grade, though, for when the Raiders made this deal, I still don't have the contract details. My projection was somewhere around 1 year, $2 million is kind of how I would look at it. If he's able to stay healthy, though, I'm going to give this a C grade. It is a average move. Like, from who's the better receiver, Michael Gallup is the better receiver. But I also know that teams like connections. Teams know that, all right, if I got 17 UDFAs, I got 8 rookies, and I got a brand new team, I'm trying to learn a lot about some of these new guys. That if you already know one of your other dudes and he can kind of be like that player coach to help mold of what Telesco is looking for some of these younger players, that could be a reason why he maybe hangs around and is also on the practice squad. Coming up next here on the show, though, I got some thoughts on what the Raiders did when they signed offensive lineman Andrus Peat, former New Orleans Saints, former first-round pick. I know he's battled a ton of injuries, and maybe that's kind of the common theme with these 3 players. If they're able to stay healthy, they're going to be good players. If they're not able to stay healthy, well then, hey, maybe they at least added a little bit of competition and a fire underneath somebody's butt. I do got to give a shout-out, though, to the Noti gang. Sergio, Charles, Eddie, Ren X, shout-out to y'all for taking time out of your day, trying to be one of the very first people to comment on our videos here at the Raiders Report. So for those that don't know, Andrus Peat, he was also signed on May 6th. Chuggs and I broke it all down. He has played left tackle. He's played left guard for the Saints last season. 12 starts in total, 16 total games, I believe. Missed 18 games over the past 3 seasons and has never played a full season since he was a rookie, which I believe is going all the way back to 2015. So a lot of games there. He's also missed 28 games the past 5 seasons. And if you're looking for that versatility, that's what the Raiders are essentially doing here with Andrus Peat. I know it's right when the Raiders signed him, I was like, oh man, what does this mean for Thayer Munford? Considering the fact, though, that Peat has only played 78 snaps on the right side of his entire career, makes me wonder, like, a guy that's battling injuries, brand new team, brand new offensive line coach, why am I going to kick him over to the right side? So I actually don't really think that this signing is going to impact Thayer Munford's ability to start at right tackle. Not saying it's not going to impact him at all, but to me now, I'm looking at more the left side of the offensive line than I am the right side of the line. Like, who is this going to impact? Anybody that you see all over there on the left. I will admit, if I'm Thayer Munford, this definitely is going to light a fire underneath my butt because I'm like, well, not only did the Raiders go out and sign Andrus Peat, somebody who does have a lot of starts underneath his belt, who is a veteran, you also drafted Delmar Glaze. So in terms of the biggest winners and losers from this signing here, to me, the 2 biggest winners, again, Gardner, AOC. I'm also going to throw in Zamir White because he is a better run blocker than he is a pass blocker. And because I'm saying that on top of that, if Colt Miller were to go down, God forbid, I hope that it doesn't happen, Peat would be the next guy to slot in there at left tackle, and because maybe he's not as strong at pass blocking as he is run blocking, you could see Alexander Madison get a few extra reps since he's one of the better pass blocking running backs in the league. Munford, because, again, it's extra depth, extra competition. Jalen McKenzie might have thought for a second that he was going to make this roster. Not any longer if Pete can stay healthy. And then Jordan Meredith, I do see the Raiders with Cody Whitehair, with Andrus Peat, and their ability to also play guard. That might kick Jordan Meredith out of making the 53-man roster. So the highest grade that I gave out, B+ here to Andrus Peat. I think it's just the best move that the Raiders ended up making. And I don't know what it's going to materialize in, but what I do know is if your quarterbacks are Gardner Minshew, Aidan O'Connell, you need to assure that you have a good offensive line. That also means assuring that you have a good, reliable backup offensive line. So if that means Pete's got to play left tackle or if he's got to play left guard, cool. That also gives you more versatility to potentially kick a guy like, I don't know, Cody Whitehair into center. It just gives you a lot more flexibility, and he's an older player on a pretty young roster overall on that O-line. So it's a B+ grade for me. So one more time here. Here are the 3 signings that the Raiders made. Michael Gallup, Jalen Guyton, Andrus Peat. And in conclusion, I know that the Raiders were trying to trade up for Jaden Daniels. And realistically, the only thing that people can knock on Telesco NAP right now for the offseason that they are having is their inability to find that upgrade at the quarterback spot. So what did Telesco and AP do? They go, hey, and they would probably say it to you. They'd probably look you dead in the eyes and say, yeah, we were trying to get a QB. We missed on that. So what can we do now? We believe in building in the trenches, and now they are showing you that they are trying to do their best to build around AOC, to build around Gardner Minshew, and they've been doing it since they missed on the quarterbacks in the draft. Brock Bowers, Jackson Power Johnson, Delmar Glaze. First 3 picks. Now, first 3 moves outside of the draft, Michael Gallup, Jalen Guyton, Andrus Peat. All players that are going to help the quarterback situation here for the Silver and Black. So the best signing, Chuggs. I'm going to switch my jersey here. I want you to give some shout-outs. I also want you to weigh in on this one. Out of these 3 names right here, do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Are you going to go with your guy from North Texas? Let me know what you're thinking.
I am not going to go with Jalen Guyton. I agree with you that it's Andrus Peat. I think, I'm a sucker for good offensive lines and good offensive line depth, and that's what you get with Andrus Peat. You have somebody who now you don't have to, even though I do think he's going to come out of the gate and be a really good left guard, you don't have to necessarily put your whole season on Jackson Powers Johnson starting at left guard either. You can possibly work him in to start with Andrus Peat at left guard because he's played about equal snaps at left guard than he has at left tackle. And kind of like Mitch said, Colton Miller injured for the first time really in his career last season. These guys, tackles, they take a lot of wear and tear on their bodies, a lot of beating. Having somebody who can slot in on that left side, especially if you have Thayer Munford starting at right tackle, gives you a little bit more flexibility with that as well if anything, God forbid, does happen to Colton Miller during the year.
Yep.
The only thing I will disagree with is I think I kind of like Jalen Guyton a little more than Michael Gallup at this point.
And I think what the hope is, and when I did this show, is based on them being healthy. Who do I honestly think has a better chance of staying healthy this season? I'll be honest. I do think it's Guyton probably over Gallup, especially with the type of quarterbacks that we have. Gallup, his route tree, I don't know how well it's going to fit with the current quarterbacks that the team has. But then also Guyton has that relationship with Telesco, which does help. But I am also looking at this right now as because in May, you're going, well, Gallup's going to be healthy, right? Guyton's going to be healthy, right? Andrus Peat's going to be healthy, right? I'm looking at it as right now you're always hoping that those guys are going to be healthy. And if they are 100% healthy, then I think Gallup is the better receiver. But I hear you loud and clear. Let's go to No, just showing some love. No Santana, shout out to you, man. Love the pick. And if anybody wants to get a pick just like No, get in our duck race today. $10 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. Thugador. I don't want Dak, not because I don't think he can be good, but he is a Cowboy, and just like with Patriot players, it rubs me the wrong way. I feel a lot of Raider fans feel like that because it's deeper than that. I love Raider Nation.
I do have to tell you, for players in the NFL, it's a business. Nobody cares. Yeah. Nobody cares if somebody's played for the Cowboys, Texans, Titans, Giants, Jets. They don't care. No, it's never like, oh, well, the only thing I can maybe think of is your direct rival, Eagles, Cowboys, or Raiders, Chiefs. But even at that point, we've seen players go back and forth.
Yeah, there was a few Raiders players last year that told me flat out, They literally like don't like certain Chiefs players, which I kind of like that. I like the rivalry. I think rivalry is always needed in sports, and there are at times when I kind of get ticked off when guys are acting all buddy, especially after they get their ass kicked. And like, no, you guys are out there making millions of dollars. Like, I want that type of competitiveness. I'll say this though, but
like Cowboys to Raiders, like I doubt any Raider player is like, man, Michael Gallup played for the Cowboys.
I think this. I don't like Dak Prescott. I've said that 100 times. However, though, if Dak Prescott won the Raiders a Super Bowl, he's going to go down in history as arguably the greatest quarterback of all time for the Las Vegas Raiders.
And if he's your best option by far, like if you don't have a high draft pick next year, if he's the best free, like say Jared Goff gets locked up, there's no other really viable free agent quarterbacks, and you don't have a high draft pick, and he's your option, the last thing on anybody in the Raiders front office, anybody in the Raiders organization's mind is going to be like, he did play for the Cowboys.
I mean, it's also why I say, like, I do this show for the nation. I do this show for the Shield. I don't do it for players because you can't really look at it so much as that. You just got to be able to say, well, you're saying you love Raider Nation, and I hear you, but it's also just win, baby. And if a guy can help you win, then you got to look at that. I mean, what do you think about Josh Jacobs? Because I saw a lot of people were upset that Jacobs kind of gave Raider Nation a middle finger. But I also said, like, I don't blame Jacobs for going to get the bag, and I don't really think that Jacobs has to take that 10 seconds or whatever and say, hey, see you later, Raider Nation.
Well,
Thanks for the love.
It's like Raider Nation, we love Charles Woodson, but he wasn't a Raider his entire career. He had a great career with the Packers as well.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of Packers fans love Charles Woodson.
Yeah. I don't know anybody that doesn't love Charles Woodson, but my point is still Adoree, and I know that we don't want Dak Prescott, but I'll also say this, like, does Dak Prescott give you a better chance to win than Aidan O'Connell, Gardner Minshew? The answer to that is yes, of course. It's just going to cost a lot of money.
Raphael said Josh Jacobs is dead to us.
Well, Jacobs blocked me on Twitter, so is what it is. Buddy Bear, remember my popsicle joke? Oh, yeah. I was roasting Tom Brady before it was famous. If you ever do a show where we get to roast the fumbling ball deflator, I'm in. I actually think they just did a show like that, which I'm not going to lie.
We were
talking about Buddy Bear.
We were like, damn, Buddy Bear would have been a great, just like, random like fan in the crowd. Be like, what do you have to say about Tom Brady?
Yep.
He can taste a popsicle by sitting on it.
Dude, Buddy Bear, I'm guessing you watched the roast of Tom Brady. There was a part in that show, and I don't remember who's talking about it, but they're talking about like when fans on Twitter or social media like say things to like Brady, and the fan that they talk about ends the tweet with an F Tom Brady, and I was like, does Buddy Bear have a burner account that we don't know about? Demokes, keeping it Demokes, man. AOC 12 MVP incoming. Here's the thing now. I got to get a new jersey. My Aidan O'Connell jersey was a 4. Now I got to get a new 12.
Come on.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. What up, Cowboy? Can we get Chuggs, get a Chump Raiders jersey? There's only one way.
If you either get a jersey or win a jersey in a raffle, you can technically put whatever you want on it.
That's
within
true.
reason.
Yes, within reason. I think we'd be able to do Chump. I'm a big rules are rules guy, so I'm not just going to give Chuggs a Chump jersey. We got to, like I said, do a raffle. We got to do something, or else we would just be giving jerseys out left and right.
So. We have too many people with too many good ideas in the chat that we would – then they'd be like, well, you got a Chump jersey. Why don't you get this kind of jersey?
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to be real. My jersey rack back there is about one jersey away from breaking. At any moment, that thing's going to collapse.
You got me a jersey rack. Yeah, to hold all your jerseys. I don't even have enough jerseys to necessitate a rack.
I got enough.
You know what movie that's from, right?
Nope. What movie?
You got me a gun rack?
Step Brothers?
No.
The way that you're saying it.
Tell them in the chat. I know people in the chat know what movie I'm talking about.
You got me, Sperry.
You got me a gun rack?
I'm pretty sure Sperry is all legs up to
I don't even have a gun.
Yeah, I don't even have a gun.
miniguns to this.
I'm guessing it's Wayne's World. I'm guessing it's Wayne's World. Wayne's World, dude, you know, I've only seen bits and parts of Wayne's World.
Dude, you have to watch the whole movie. Wayne's World is so great.
I guess I will. I'll try to this weekend.
She will be mine. Raider Nation, when they saw Jaden Daniels, she will be mine.
Too soon.
She will be mine.
Luis A., you are in twice. Remember, if you guys want to get in our duck race today, it's a $10 Venmo, which as it stands right now, winner would go home with $120 here on the Raiders Report. $10 Venmo to get in. Winner right now goes home with $120. All right, Chuggs, next segment coming up here on today's show, we're going to be doing some position rankings. So we're going to be looking at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and we're going to be going from 12, working our way down to 1. I'm going to also tell you the confidence level that I have in each of those position groups and try to explain to you why I'm feeling that way. What?
When you said that, it made me think of one of the moments from that Tom Brady roast. You remember that joke about Bill Belichick?
I remember a lot of the jokes. I just don't know how many we could say here.
The Andrew Schultz one where he was like, Bill Belichick's filmed more men playing for the other team than P. Diddy.
Oh. Dude, there were so many jokes where, again,
dude,
if you don't like roasts,
that was honestly my favorite joke.
You need to lighten up a little bit.
That was my favorite joke of the entire night. I know Nikki Glazer killed it.
She crushed
Tony
it.
from Kill Tony killed it. There's a lot of real. What's her face? Sam.
I don't remember.
You know who I'm talking about, though.
Probably, if I seen
the
a
other
picture.
chick.
I need a picture.
But dude,
the whole roast.
That
in general
Bill
was
Belichick
hilarious.
joke.
Bill did a really good job.
Insane.
Bill did a really good job. Like I said, I thought Randy Moss was a little bit nervous, but it was a hell of a roast. Man.
I did see Tom's ex-wife was mad, and same with
who cares?
Aaron Hernandez's wife. But
I mean, like, I think the problem with people are, and like I get you can be upset, and they have every right to be upset, but then there's also that other side of coin of like, well, like. Let's be real here.
He did do it.
Let's be real here. Like, I don't know. I think the problem in today's society is people are like, oh, I'm upset. People are upset that I'm upset. No, I just sometimes think it's like, why are you upset? There's a reason. Well, then if that reason outweighs why you're upset, then I'm sorry. I don't know. It's the world's crazy, man. All right, I did see a few more people just got in this duck race. I saw Frank. You are in.
She was a white belt after a year. You didn't see it coming?
Luis Rod is in. Frank A is in. And then Rick Hand also in.
I might rewatch that.
I'll probably rewatch it in like a month or two from now. Not now. I still remember enough of the jokes. You know who I wanted to talk more? I wanted Tom Segura to have his own. Like when I saw him and Kreischer roll out, I was like, I want Segura like.
I think they overbooked it. I think they said yes to too many people and then realized, like, oh, shit. Like, it was already 3 hours. Like, no, roasts are only usually an hour long, an hour and a half.
The worst person on the entire roast, and it's not close, was Kevin Hart. Every time Kevin Hart talked, I was like, get him off screen.
People were saying Randy Moss.
Well, for a roaster, yes. But for the host of a roast, every time Kevin Hart spoke, it was like, get this guy off. Like, I just don't think he's funny. He was brutal. He looked like he showed up that night, had nothing planned. He said, F it, let's do it.
Imagine going to one of his comedy shows.
Yeah. I went to one. Not great.
You didn't like it?
I mean, I'll say this. I got in for free. Graf had the hookup there, but I would never pay to go see Kevin Hart.
Did Graf think it was funny?
It was okay. I mean, that's the thing, though. The guy before, and Graf would back me up on this, the guy before Kevin Hart when we went to watch him, 10 times funnier.
I think at this point, like Kevin Hart's first special, maybe second special, he was funny. He's gotten so much into acting that he's an actor now. He's not a comedian.
I agree with that.
It's kind of like Adam Sandler, where he was funny stand-up, like funny stuff, but now he's so much of an actor that like, even though I went to go see his comedy special in Vegas and I thought it was pretty funny, like it still doesn't stack up next to like other comedians I've seen, like Shane Gillis, Burt Kreischer, Tom Segura.
They're not even
in the same stratosphere.
Not even close. Not even close. Like, Kevin Hart's just not even close. All right, coming up here, let's get into these Raiders position group rankings on today's show. I'm going to tell you which position group scares the hell out of me the most and which one I am the most confident in. Remember, we're going to do this duck race at the very, very end of today's show. So right now, as it stands, $10 Venmo, you get in, chance to win $135 here on the Raiders Report. Chuggs, this one is PrizePicks, right? That is correct. Let me just get to my right spot. Cool. Let's get this thing rocking on today's show. Coming up here on the Raiders Report, I'm going to be looking at all the Raiders position groups, and I'm going to be ranking them from 12 down to 1. So full, positions that we're going to be looking at: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, interior offensive line, offensive tackle, defensive end, defensive tackle, linebacker, corner, safety, special teams. I hope that is 12. But we're going to be going from 12. We're going to work our way down to 1. On top of that, I'm also going to tell you my confidence level in each of those units, and I'll try to do my best to explain why I'm very confident or why I'm not very confident in a certain unit. I'll say this, though. I am confident in what Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco are doing. When you look at this roster from top to bottom and understand, and I think for a lot of people that watch this show, with the amount of times that we talk on this show, the amount of graphics that we show, like, you got to be able to watch and you got to be like, all right, man, this is a much, much better team than what we were rolling with Josh McDaniels, with Dave Ziegler, and I'm feeling pretty damn confident in this roster from top to bottom. So my confidence level meter, and for people that watch pretty often, you probably already know where I am at, and it's the way that I do grades. Think of it as A, B, C, D, or F. So from 90 to 100 on my confidence meter, I'm very, very confident in that unit. From 80 to 89, confident. 70 to 79 in the middle. I can make an argument why I am. I can also make an argument why I'm not. 60 to 69, I'm not confident. If it's 59 or below, zero confidence in that unit. It's probably the worst one in the National Football League. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to go from the least confident to the most confident on today's show. The position group that scares the hell out of me the most on the Las Vegas Raiders is the running back room, which I actually think that a lot of people thought that I was going to go a little bit of a different direction. The reason why this unit is number 12 to me is because I don't really view Zamir White as a top 20 running back in the NFL. I don't view Alexander Mattison as a top 30, 40 back in the NFL. Yes, Madison can pass block. That's great. Yes, Zamir White had a final 4 games that were pretty strong. But overall, Amir Abdullah scares me a little bit. I think Dylan Laube can be a good pass-catching running back. But legitimately, if one of these guys goes down, even your backups, there's not a lot to prove there. My confidence level in the running back room as it stands is a 65 overall. I know that Zamir White can be good. I know that Alexander Mattison can also serve a certain role. But, if you told me at the end of the season that the Raiders are one of the worst rushing teams in the NFL and a Luke Getsy offense, I'll also sit up here and say, yeah, I'm really not all that surprised. Let's go to number 11 here on our position group rankings. Shout out to PrizePicks, our sponsor. It's quarterback. And I know that we're going to talk a lot this offseason about Aidan O'Connell. I know we're going to talk a lot about Gardner Minshew. But, there is that old saying, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't got any quarterbacks. And Gardner Minshew, not a top 20 quarterback in the NFL, maybe somewhere around 24, 25. Aidan O'Connell, not a top 35 quarterback in the NFL in my book. Good backup. After that, though, again, a lot of just unknowns from top to bottom. And when you do these rankings, you have to do them based on where the Raiders rank, not only in their own current roster, but also where do they rank amongst other NFL teams. And the reason why it's a 67 overall for me is because do the Raiders have the worst quarterback group in the National Football League? There's an argument to be had that that's a yes. That's not me sitting up here saying I hate the Raiders. When I do this show, I'm going to be honest with y'all. And to me, there's only a few teams that you can make a legit argument saying that's the worst quarterback room in the NFL. The Broncos are absolutely one of those teams. The Raiders got to be there in that mix. I think you could probably throw out a team like Indy, maybe a team like Tennessee in that mix as well. Bottom line is, I could sit up here and make an argument that the Raiders have the worst quarterback room in the NFL. For that, it's a 67 on the confidence meter. But here's the fun question, because I've seen a lot of people saying the Raiders are going to be somewhere around 6.5 wins. I've seen the Vegas odds, yet they won 8 games last season with a worse roster. My question to you is, this is also going to be the pinned comment, how many games will the Raiders win with Aidan O'Connell or Gardner Minshew at quarterback? If you want to be an overachiever and tell me your projection with AOC, go for it. If you want to be an overachiever and give me your projection with Minshew, both of those guys, hey, go for it. My answer coming up after this YouTube ad break. I believe that the Las Vegas Raiders are going to be somewhere around 9 to 10 wins this upcoming season. You went 5-4 with Antonio Pierce last season. Your defense has gotten better. Your quarterback play has gotten better. Your overall team in general has gotten better, and your head coach is a lot better. So because of that reasoning alone, I don't know if you're going to find a Chiefs win on Christmas, but I'm also hoping that you're not going to lose a 30-12 game against the Chicago Bears. There's going to be some games that you win that maybe you didn't win last year, and vice versa. Because of that, 9-10 wins is where I view the silver and black. Let's go to number 10 here on our position group rankings. I'm going to go with cornerback, and I like the young players on this roster. I can make a lot of arguments saying Jacorian Bennett has upside. DeCamerion Richardson has upside. You know, like MJ Devonshire has upside. The only 2 players, though, that I can legitimately look you in the eyes and say that I have confidence in them starting is Nate Hobbs and Jack Jones. And because of that, that is why all of these other players are ranked so low, and that's why corner is just such a low group. If you were to ask me right now, Mitch, what's the biggest position of need on this roster? I'll admit, I mean, sure, I'll probably still say quarterback, but like legitimate position, I will say corner, because this team needs a number 1 corner, and I don't know if they have one on the roster right now. My confidence level is a 75. Like, there is good players. Nate Hobbs, Jack Jones are why this is a 75. If those 2 guys are not here, or if one of those guys goes down, then you're looking at one of the worst cornerback rooms in the NFL. So I'm hoping that we go out and add somebody. Let's go to number 9 here. It's linebacker. And I like Robert Spillane. He showed you that he is a perfect fit and what this organization is trying to do. And because he's a perfect fit, to me, it's just one of the biggest reasons why they went out and they drafted Tommy Eichenberg in round 5. But then after that, I want Divine Diablo to be a good player. The other reason why that I have the linebackers ranked higher than corners is because I believe that the Raiders are going to roll with 2 linebackers more than they roll with 3. And because of the 2 linebackers, whether that be a Spillane and Diablo, whether that be Spillane and Eichenberg, the 2 starters I have confidence in. After that, though, again, it's a pretty weak group from top to bottom. The grade that I'm going to give is 77, and I'm giving it a 77 again, more just because I view the starters as being 2 linebackers. They're going to roll with more DBs on this defense. And if Robert Spillane's out there, I got a lot of confidence in that linebacking unit. We're going to get into the top 8 units here for the silver and black. But before we do, I got to give a shout out to our sponsor, PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. All you got to do is pick 2+ players, choose more or less. I promise you it's really that simple. The Raiders Report is made possible by PrizePicks, and they've got specials for new and returning users alike. Just go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with NBA, NHL, and MLB entries today on PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. I know that a lot of times I get asked, Mitch, well, what are we rolling with here during the regular season? Because I always like to try to pick Raiders players and games that are going on that impact the nation. Right now, the only thing that's on PrizePicks, the last time that I checked, was season long around Brock Bowers. He's got receiving touchdowns. He also has receiving yards. So let's play a game here. Let's say you go to PrizePicks. Let's say you use code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS, and you got that $100 deposit match, right? If Brock Bowers, 700.5 receiving yards. Would you say more? Would you say less? I'll be real with y'all. At touchdowns at 5.5, I would say more. 700.5 receiving yards for a first-year tight end wide receiver on a team that also has Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Michael Mayer, and then you got quarterbacks Aidan O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. I'll probably lean less. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't ever think that Bowers is going to be a stud. Obviously, I do, but there is only one football to go around in a Raiders offense that I don't exactly know what it's going to look like right now. So because of that, I'm going to type my L for less, and it looks like Gatlin Gunn, Jake Serb, and Dexter Boots are also riding with that less as well. Bottom line is, no matter what you're doing, whether it's the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, if you use PrizePicks, you're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to be able to create some lasting memories and hopefully put a little bit of extra money in your pocket. Let's go to number 8 here for my Raiders position group rankings. I'm going to go with offensive tackle. Colton Miller is why this unit is at 8, because after Colton Miller, there are a lot of unknowns, but kind of like what I said about linebackers, I know one side of the football field is locked down in Miller. Does he have a few injury concerns? Sure, he missed some time last season, but then after that, Thayer Munford, good right tackle. Am I really confident? No. Delmar Glaze, that was a little bit of a reach. Dalton Wagner, good player. Haven't seen much out of him. Andrus Peat, can't stay healthy. Jalen McKenzie, a little bit more depth. So when you look at this Raiders offensive line, especially at offensive tackle, my confidence level in that unit is 79, and it's because of Colton Miller. Like, Miller, my confidence level is probably somewhere in the mid-90s. So for that, it's a weighted grade. All those other players, I'm probably a 74, 73 and below on when you look at the offensive tackles in terms of total depth. This is, though, where I think where the the overall roster, you can really start to see the good churning of depth. Safety, right? Like safety, this was tough. When I ranked them at number 7, I go, man, that's way too low. And then I looked at some of the other spots, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm making an argument why safety deserves to be higher. Trevon Merrick, Marcus Epps, they were one of the best safety duos in the NFL last season. Then I also really like the depth on top of that. I mean, you got a guy in Isaiah Balamayo who I'm pretty high on. Trey Taylor's another player that I'm high on. And then Chris Smith is somebody that I'm hoping can materialize into something. The reason why, though, they are at number 7 is because I don't view Epps as being a superstar. I don't view Trevon Merrick as being a superstar. I just view them as being two reliable safeties that have good depth, and my confidence level in our safety unit is an 85 overall. So, like, we jump up big time from offensive tackle, and, yeah, you're talking about a position unit that's number 7 that I got an 85. Like, this is where the Raiders roster to me is a lot better than what people give credit for, and if they had a legit quarterback, people would talk about them as being one of the better teams in the NFL. Let's go to number 6 here. It's at the tight end position. Spoiler alert, I'm going to put Brock Bowers in as a tight end, and I'm also going to put Brock Bowers in as a wide receiver. It's going to be something that I do all offseason because he is a hybrid. He's not like a lot of NFL players out there, and because of that, I have them at number 6. So you have Bowers and Mayer. To me, 3 years from now, we're going to talk about Bowers and Mayer as like legitimately that next great tight end duo that the NFL is going to try to go out and copycat. But let's also not sleep on Harrison Bryant, a dude that's not afraid to be a tight end 3. I mean, he was the tight end 3 for the Cleveland Browns back when they signed Austin Hooper. They drafted David Njoku, and he still found a way on the field. Why? He's a good blocker. So Bowers is going to be more of that receiver. Mayer's the all-around tight end. Harrison Bryant is more of that red zone option / the blocker. So because of that, my confidence level in this tight end group is an 86. Those first 3 guys, to me, the Raiders have one of the better tight end groups in the entire National Football League. I don't know if it's top 5, but I do think it's a top 10 unit, and because of that, it's an 86. Let's go to defensive end. The only reason why they're here is Max Crosby, and I'm going to be real. Like, you got Max Crosby, Tyree Wilson's going to be thrown here in this group, Malcolm Kuntz. Outside of that, I have no confidence in anybody else that's the defensive end. But because Max Crosby and Devontae Adams are probably the only 2 players on my confidence level that I ranked as a 99, when you add that weighted class in with Malcolm, with Tyree, it comes out to being an 87 overall on my confidence level, which was the 5th highest out of all these. So I didn't do this show based on, like, where I thought the positions were going to go. I did this show based on my confidence level, ranking these players at their positions, putting all the numbers together, and then it spits out me a number. The number that it spit out was 87 for defensive ends. Now, again, it's a weighted grade because it's Max Crosby. If Max Crosby's on one side of the field, that means all I got to look at is those 7 other defensive ends and say, figure it out. Because Max has got his shit on lock. Can the other 7 guys on that defensive line figure it out? That question I'm hoping is a yes. I know Malcolm can. I believe Tyree Wilson's going to have a major, major breakout year, but I still feel like we need an extra spot there for a little bit of depth. Before I get into the top 4 position groups here for the Silver and Black, I got to give a shout out to some of the real ones. We got Ben Thrack, Lost in Tynes, which, you know what, shout out to Lost right now. I got his jersey. I'm going to be rocking this on our live show. Ultra VAB, Nico, Astastic Lads, and then Serge Shy. These are people that I know are always watching our live shows, are always interacting with me on social media, and really are just trying to be a part of the nation. So to the real ones, I see you and I salute you. Let's go to number 4 here for my position group rankings. And this one, I think is going to be the one that surprises a lot of people. It's the interior offensive line. So the positions that I'm looking at here are left guard, right guard, and center. I love me some Jackson Powers-Johnson. I think he's going to be a legit Pro Bowl offensive guard in the NFL. Andre James continues to get better and better and better every single year that he's a center. And then I'm also very high on Dylan Parham. To me, you were able to find 3 players here that are really good starters in the NFL. On top of that, I am also going to throw into a name like Andrus Peat, who I believe could be a good backup guard if need be. Cody Whitehair could be a guard/center. I also can throw into this ability of maybe Thayer Munford could be there. Jordan Meredith could potentially be there. Delmar Glaze could be there. So when you look at the Raiders' offensive line and the amount of players that can also play guard, can also play center, that versatility, to me it's one of the deepest positions that this team has on the entire roster is interior offensive line. Like, I'm not even kind of worried about our guards. I'm not even kind of worried about center because if one of those guys go down, you're going to be able to put somebody in there and say, okay, I have confidence in that guy. Because of that, I got an 88 overall grade here for my confidence level in the interior O-line. Let's go to number 3, and this is one where I almost feel like I'm too low on them. It's special teams. And I do think that the Raiders have one of the best special teams units in the NFL from a kicking standpoint. You have the best punter in the NFL in A.J. Cole. You have one of the best kickers in Daniel Carlson, and I need Carlson to go back to his, 2022 ways. 2023 was a little bit of a rough season. Maybe still trying to get used to Jacob Bobenmoyer, the long snapper. Outside of that, though, Trey Tucker, I think, could be a good punt returner. Amir Abdul, I think, could be a good kick returner. But the reason why that I have them at number 3, it's not because of Tucker. It's because of A.J. Cole and Daniel Carlson. And I know what position special teams is not as important as the quarterback, as the running back. But, if you were to legitimately look at a certain position group, that's one of the best position groups that the Raiders have. Special teams, my confidence level in them is a 93. When Carlson goes out there, I expect him to knock it through. When A.J. Cole goes out there, I expect him to flip the field. That's a big advantage that not a lot of NFL teams have. Let's go to number 2 here, and it's defensive tackle, which blows my mind that defensive tackle is this high because I have done this show every single year, and every single year defensive tackle is at the very, very bottom of this list. You went out, you signed Christian Wilkins, you brought back Adam Butler, you brought back John Jenkins. Tyree Wilson, I think, is going to get a little bit more work there, and I'm expecting big things from him. And then here's where it gets really interesting. What happens in the second year of the NFL? You see a guy like Byron Young take that next step forward. You see a guy like Nesta Jade Silvera take that next step forward. Matthew Butler, 3rd year, 2nd year with Antonio Pierce. What if he takes a leap forward like what Trevon Merrick did? Remember Merrick, he struggled his first 2 years. Then he got that extra year with Patrick Graham, able to take that leap forward. To me, the Raiders not only have one of the best defensive tackle units in the league, but they also have a lot of really solid depth. The Christian Wilkins move is one of the highest graded players that I have for the Raiders this year. But then also, I believe Tyree is going to really light up the board. Adam Butler, John Jenkins, names that I think if you were not paying attention to the Raiders last season, you wouldn't know how good those guys actually were. So from top to bottom, my confidence level in our Raiders defensive tackle room is a 94. Shout out to Christian Wilkins for really putting that unit together. Shout out to Telesco for building the big guys up front, which means the position group that I am the most confident in for the Silver and Black, it's wide receiver. And when you talk about one of the best in the biz, Devontae Adams is one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League, if not the best receiver. Then you got Jacoby Myers, who was a good wide receiver too. Then you add Brock Bowers, who I'm telling you right now is going to light the world on fire. And then after that, the depth's not great. you did sign Michael Gallup, you did sign Jalen Guyton, and then you got a bunch of other dudes in there. Oh, yeah, you also have one of the fastest players in the NFL, and Trey Tucker, who had some of the best separation from NFL defenses last season. My confidence level in our wide receiver unit is a 95. Like, it's a very good freaking group, which is another reason why I kind of, beat up the Raiders a little bit for not being able to find that franchise quarterback. The price was wrong, Bobby. All I'm saying now is you have a really, really good team around that offense, especially in the spots that matter the most. Tight end, wide receiver, your offensive line is ready to go. They do need the running back position, but then again, I think it's the least important position right now in the National Football League. So let me know where we agree. Let me know where we disagree. Which position group is the best for the Las Vegas Raiders this year? If you think it's receiver, defensive tackle, maybe you think it's special teams, let me know down below where you guys think the best position group for the Silver and Black is. Now, if you guys made it this far in the video, shout out to all of y'all. Remember, you can hit me up on social media at Mitchell Renz 365. Don't be afraid to hit up Chuggs either if you ever win a duck race or if you ever win something that's a little bit easier to get in contact with him on Twitter at Jeremy Chuggs. We do this show for y'all, to rock with y'all. At the end of the day, we are just Raider fans. So one more time here. Here's the position group rankings. If anybody wants to take a screenshot, you can. Also, what I did is I took all the numbers together and I added them together for a grade. For me, my confidence level in the Raiders down below is an 83 grade, which kind of is on line for that 9 to 10 win season. It's kind of right on line for I am confident in this Raiders team. I can make some arguments of why they might struggle. I can also make a lot of arguments of why I think that they're going to do a lot better than people think. To me, though, if you add a quarterback, there's no reason why this wouldn't skyrocket. We're going to see what Aidan O'Connell can do. We're going to see what Gardner Minshew can do. It's going to be a hell of a battle this offseason, and all I hope is that it makes both of them a lot better for this upcoming year. What up, Will Duncan, watching today with Raider Nation's newest fan, my son Owen, born yesterday afternoon. Love the show and go Raiders. Will.
You can't, there's a baby in the room. Go Raiders.
Oh, that's actually why I didn't yell Raiders. I tried to make it quick. And I was
yep. A little quickie.
I mean, sometimes it leads to a little Raider baby.
Everybody spam Owen in the chat, the newest member of Raider Nation.
Owen.
Go ahead and spam it.
How many Owens have you ever met? I had an Owen on my baseball team when I was like 13.
Wow.
Also,
wow.
My cousin's name's Owen.
Wow.
Have you ever met an Owen? I feel like it's not a common name. I like the name Owen. That's why I'm saying it.
Wow.
What does that mean?
Wow.
I don't know.
You don't know who that's from?
I guess not.
I'll give you a clue. He's an actor. He always says, wow.
Owen Wilson? Okay. I was like, I'm just going to go with Owen Wilson. That guy's nose is crooked. Nabman, Tessier, Dion, Tio. What's up, Dad? What's up, Dad? All right, y'all, I'm going to switch up my jersey here real quick. Chug's going to hop on the mic. Remember, $10 Venmo to get in for a chance to win some money as it stands right now, which we did just get a few extra people in. I see Ultra VAB. He's in not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. And then also Dungeon Fitness is in, as well as Charles G is in.
Robert, that's pretty funny.
What?
He said, I called my best friend in high school Owen because he was always owing me some gas money.
I mean, who said that?
Robert Jansen.
It checks out. There is nobody that I believe keeps track of.
Robert would be the guy who calculated how far you were away, and he's like, with the price of gas being $3.75, I actually checked, and the mileage that I spent taking you from school to your house, you owe me $5.33.
The guy's like, all right, I'll make you a deal.
You also owe me 74 cents from last week.
Yep. The guy's like, I'll make you a deal. If I do 200 jumping jacks right now, can we get it down to $3? He's like, no, sir.
No way.
No, full season AOC 9 to 11 wins. Gardner Minshew 11 to 13 wins. I would say with Gardner, you're looking at 9 to 10. With AOC, you're probably looking in that 7 to 8 range yet again here for the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, Chuggs, take it away. I also see there is some news around Rashee Rice, which Rashee Rice is already facing 8 charges in connection with his involvement. I think that there's got to be an update here. I saw some stuff pop up.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my Lord. Rashee Rice is under investigation for allegedly hitting a photographer at a club in Dallas Monday night.
Rashy, what are you doing?
What on earth? So,
that's pretty funny.
What?
The first reply that I saw under it was this.
I don't know what he's doing right now. He's pissing away his career, and it's pissing me. It is. It's pissing me off, and I know some people are like, oh, Mitch, he's a Chief. I know he's a Chief. But, like, you're also talking about a young man who just won a Super Bowl, who has the opportunity to make life-changing money, not only for him, but for his entire family. And I hate when people throw away their life. And right now, I'm not saying he's throwing it away, but he's definitely not doing the right things. He needs somebody to get in his corner. If I'm Patrick Mahomes, I pick up the phone and I go, hey, get your ass back here. Get out of Dallas. Because obviously the people that he's around in Dallas aren't good for him. Get him out of here.
But also, he's a grown man.
I agree.
He needs to take accountability. It shouldn't be like, oh, you're in a city that, you have people that are persuading you. Be a grown man. Be an adult that doesn't get into trouble because you're a millionaire and have a lot on the line, and don't be a dumbass and waste your opportunity. I don't feel bad for him whatsoever. I don't think he needs to. And if I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm like, all right, get him off my team. I'm the one that's making him that much of a better player. He can go play for the CFL.
Yeah, I hear you, and I don't disagree with you at all. I don't disagree with you at all. My point was like, all right, you've already proven to me that you're not an adult and that you can't make adult decisions. So if I'm Mahomes, I go either you're going to live in middle of nowhere, Kansas City, or you can go find somewhere else to play.
If I'm Mahomes, I'd rather be like, yeah, we should probably cut this guy.
But they also know that he gives them a better chance to win. He does.
Does he if he's on your roster, if he takes up a 53-man roster spot and then doesn't end up getting to play in the playoffs because he does something stupid? That would be hurting the team more because
I don't think he'll miss a playoff game.
I think he'll be suspended. If this comes out and it's actually true that he assaulted somebody, that on top of what he already just did,
then maybe.
I don't see him not getting suspended.
If you're Kansas City, you're like, is he suspended for a playoff game? No, then I don't care. Because if you're the Chiefs, you're like, all I got to do is get into the playoffs, and they're probably going to make the playoffs with Patrick Mahomes.
I'll let you get off so you can do that. Evil Mitch, if you were going to draft a QB next year, who would you draft and who would you rank from best to worst? I want Bowers' jersey, but I feel like 89 would be his temporary number. 19 just feels right. That's one issue, and it's really hard. DJ Turner's 19? Very well could be his number changes by the end of preseason. Yeah. But I get that. It's hard whenever you have a player. Like, we have to make, you see in all of our graphics, we have all these photos of all the players, and we try to get good photos for y'all so it looks better on screen. It was hell last year, and one of our main producers here, Sam, was having trouble because Josh Jacobs decided to go from 28 to 8. So half of the photos that we had for him were outdated.
My dad and Amy are both in. I hear what you're saying. I would admit to you also that I would probably wait on the Bowers jersey because we've seen it before where guys are a certain number, then cuts happen. And in this situation where, well, let me make sure here real quick before I start talking out of pocket. I'm pretty sure DJ Turner is 19. He obviously doesn't play a lot, so, yep, DJ Turner, number 19. That's also a jersey that's not going to be very hard to buy out.
Yeah.
Right? Nope. If he gets cut, then you don't need to.
Before we get into our last segment, today is National Teacher Day, so if everybody, 475 people in the chat, I know everybody had at least one teacher that, helped them, was a fun teacher, helped them, overcome struggles, help them learn a certain subject, whatever. Shout out that one teacher down in the comment section. Let me know, Mrs. Whoever, Mr. Whoever. Who is that one teacher that was a real one for you? Hashtag RO4L. Just like this guy's a real one.
If you
lost
in times Bang! If you wear it, they will come.
I think you misspelled it.
Yep. Lost in tens. Lost
A real
in
one.
tens.
Let's see. I have Rebel Montana says Kerber, Mrs. Schulte from Boogie, Mrs. Yep, Sean, you almost got me with that one. Mr. Mayfield.
What?
Sean PM.
Yep.
Mrs. C, Miss Jang, hit me with a ruler back in the back of the neck.
I can remember I had a teacher. Have you ever had a teacher where his name was like something and they were like, oh, that's not how you pronounce it? I had a teacher, her last name was Fluck. How do you pronounce that?
Fluke.
That's what she was trying to go with. No way. No flucking way, Miss Fluck. There's no way. No chance. My other favorite teacher that I had, Mr. Riker, he was my 4th grade teacher. I've talked about him before. He made science fun. He's an absolute legend.
Let's see. We have Mr. Baker. We have Mr. Silvera, Mr. Jackson, Miss Myra. Allie, any teachers you want to give a shout out on National Teacher Day? You have any teachers?
Sienna said, Miss Clark inspired me to become a teacher.
Miss Stewart, Allie Barefoot. Oh, whoa. Allie Barefoot's 3rd grade teacher. If you're still alive, she's shouting you out. She said she's not. She doesn't know how she's doing.
What's more likely? She's watching the Raiders Report or she's alive? I don't know.
Miss Estes, you were a real one. My 10th grade English teacher. Coach T, you were also a real one. She was a women's basketball coach back in the day, and then she just was an English teacher. She was a real one as well. Dr. Berger, my junior year physicist teacher. Let's see. In college, Professor Fellows, Professor McElroy, y'all are some real ones.
My old high school baseball coach, Mr. Knorr. He was a math teacher on top of that, though.
Coach Fry. Coach Fry's a real one. My basketball coach in high school, and he was my senior year politics. It was U.S. politics teacher for me senior year. He was a real one because he knew me and him were like really close from me being on the basketball squad, and then I was the manager my junior and senior year of the basketball squad. And he was my first period teacher, and I would text him half the time, be like, hey, I'm running late, and he would just sign me in as like in for the day, not tardy.
That's awesome.
So I would show up sometimes 20, 30 minutes late. I would bring him some donuts sometimes and stuff as like we got a thing going.
Yeah, I had a science teacher. His name was Mr. White, which he was probably like 25 in high school. Like a high school teacher being 25 is kind of reckless. He was a good teacher, though.
I see Miss Hannon, 9th grade algebra.
We wanted to do this today because I do think like being a teacher is probably one of the most underappreciated jobs, and I know we talk about it a lot. Like, you know, being a nurse. I got a bunch of friends that are nurses.
Jack.
I love my job. I think when I think about what I have when I have a tough day compared to like when a teacher, a nurse, and I know there's a lot of other very, very difficult jobs out there.
National Teacher
we wanted
Day
to show
is
some love to the teachers.
National Teacher Day. Is there any teachers that you want to give a special shout out who might be watching the Raiders Report?
Well, my favorite teacher has sadly passed.
Was it also Allie's 3rd grade teacher?
No, not Allie's 3rd grade teacher. His name was Mark Rita. He's the reason why I am doing what I am doing today. Rest in peace, Mr. Rita.
I was going to say, Mark Rita. What's his favorite drink? A margarita.
Well, his Twitter handle was actually Mark Doritaville.
That's solid.
Yep.
Yeah.
That guy F's.
Rest in peace, Mark. Thank you. I'm where I am now because of him.
All of the living teachers that Jack had, he hates you.
That's true. I had a lot of great teachers.
The only one I can think of that I liked isn't around anymore. No, all the other ones sucked.
I had a lot of great teachers, but, you know.
Apparently none of y'all made the list.
Yep. It's a strict list, though. Jack was going to do a 53-man roster of all of his teachers. The only problem is only one made it.
Just imagine
Surprise cut candidates for Jack Adoree
imagine
coming in here at 52.
the likelihood. Probably.
I don't know. Actually, easily.
Between school and college?
Easily. Think about grade school 1 through 12 times 8.
Imagine the likelihood of one of Jack's former teachers watching this and then sees Jack on screen. He's like, oh, maybe it's me. And he's like, only one is this guy.
Yes, brutal. And we have now just lost a subscriber. It's probably a teacher from Jack's past. All right, y'all, coming up here on the Raiders Report.
Super chat from Timothy.
Can I get a Raiders for new fan baby Maverick?
Damn, y'all Raider fans been going at it.
Right? I've been putting in that work.
Dude, what happened 9 months ago?
Well, yeah, what month is 9 months ago? I actually don't know. Preseason football. Yep.
So wait. So that's 5. Could be December.
So that means Aidan
November,
O'Connell threw a preseason touchdown in
October. Yeah, start of the season. It was that. You know what it was? First game 1-0 against the Broncos. That would be the timetable.
Yeah.
That first win, Jimmy G leads the Raiders to a victory against the Broncos, and we're all like, "This could be a good year."
Mile high for Timothy.
That year.
Attaboy. All right, you ready? Raiders!
Shout out to Maverick.
Abel, my Spanish teacher, Mr.
No.
Chu Pam.
I don't think we should say it. I don't believe it's real.
Mr. Chu.
Mr. Chu.
Mr. Chu.
I don't believe that that's real.
No, you don't think?
I really don't.
I don't know, man. That seems pretty legit. Somebody would super chat for a teacher name, I feel like.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
I highly doubt that that's real.
Why do we have... I mean, he looks like he lost Yo Mama and decided to come here.
Who?
The Philly guy out there. I mean, I'm not quite sure what's happening here. He looks like Weak Mill. You know what I mean? Crash Dog, I'm up. Giggity. What's going on? What's up, fam? I taught in a local college for 10 years. I love teaching. Could you imagine?
Shout out to Crash Dog. Teacher Appreciation Week.
Gunny, what did you teach?
Raiders History 101.
The art of the silver and black. How to wake up.
The art of pillaging, just for fun.
I mean, what do you think his students did? They showed up a little bit late. They were like, sorry, what'd I miss? I was sleeping. I just woke up. What did I miss?
He said leadership and theology.
All right, I'm not going to lie. That's pretty dope.
Just imagine if Crash Dog was one of those teachers where it's like, class starts, I lock the door. No tardies.
He's too nice. He's too nice. I will say, though, from talking to Crash Dog on our Zoom calls,
he's nice, but
he does have a lot of books.
He's nice, but I do feel like also Crash Dog being a former military guy.
I mean,
timeliness.
Again, I've talked to Crash Dog a few times on Zoom, and just from our, back and forth here, he kind of reminds me a lot of my dad in a sense, where they think similar, where it's like, if you show them that you got their back and like there's like that love and compassion there, like my dad I know would run through a brick wall for me, right? I also know when I was a kid, if I screwed up even in the slightest, I heard about it. It was my dad was the person that set down the laws. My mom was the one that allowed me to break them. My mom was more like, as long as the rules of my mom's household were very similar to like what it took to be a Patriots tight end. Just don't murder anyone, and then you're good. That was the only rule in my mom's household. Don't murder anyone, and if you could occasionally clean your room, that would be great.
Speaking of free agency, coming up, 3 free agent targets linked to the Raiders by the homies over at BR.
Yep. From the homies over at Bleacher Report. I saw an article that they put out. It was around 3 free agents that the Raiders should sign. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about those 3 free agents, tell you whether or not I would sign them, and then that'll kind of be the whole shtick of the show because the Raiders do have one more open roster spot. After that, we got a duck race to do, and then time to wrap that thing up, unlike I was trying to think of Maverick's name, but
Abel.
Abel.
Oh, wait, no. It was Timothy. Abel was the one that was trying to get us saying.
Oh, well, there was another baby, though, too.
Will Duncan.
Will. Will Duncan putting in that work after Monday Night Football. Nice. Also, the Ostrich, right? Abel? Or no?
Timothy.
Timothy Ostrich. And there was something like that, right?
Ostring. Close.
Timothy Ostring. I knew it was something like that. All right, y'all. Let's talk about the players that Bleacher Report thinks the Silver and Black should sign. I'll tell you whether I agree with it, whether I don't agree with it. Also, one more time here, $10 Venmo to get in our 50-50 raffle, which means winner would go home with, as it stands right now, $180. So if you want to get in, $10 Venmo, winner goes home with $180.
That's like...
It's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I mean, that's like a 20 in for, what, 360? 20 to win 360, 10 for 180.
I mean, that's a pretty low risk, high reward.
I mean, shit, I might get in. I might try to get in. Let me tie my shoe here real quick. I don't know how I just undid this. I don't want to trip on it while I'm talking to y'all during our next segment.
Yoder special.
What? He does that? He trips?
Oh, it's the shoe tie.
Oh, well. Shoe tie, don't bother me. All right, here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, this one is hats.
Uh-huh.
Cool. All right, let's get into this thing. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And when we first started doing this show back on our days on Facebook, one of the funnest segments, if that's a word, right? Funnest? One of the segments that I used to love to do is I would see like what people would write, and then I would give my own opinion. I'd give my spin on it. So that's kind of what I'm doing here on today's episode. Bleacher Report put out an article of 3 players that they thought that the Raiders should go out and sign after the NFL draft. The 3 players that they mentioned were Yannick Ngakoue, Adoree Jackson, and Jerick McKinnon. As it stands right now, at the time that I'm making this video on Tuesday, the Raiders have one open roster spot. Now, we know that they went out and they signed Michael Gallup, Jalen Guyton, Andrus Peat, and they've been a pretty aggressive team. Antonio Pierce, top Telesco. Could they go out and sign one more guy? I'm going to tell you who the Raiders should and should not sign from this list here, and then if I could only pick one, I'll tell you which guy I would roll with. One thing, though, that I really want you guys to do is if you believe that the nation is family, that you don't have to be blood to be family, I want you to grow this thing because the more people that we get to hit that subscribe button, the more free videos, the more content, but also the crazier shenanigans can go down. So I did just see we got some new subs, and I want to give some shout-outs here to some of our new subscribers. Shout out to Liz, shout out to Savannah, King, Blaine. I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day to not only watch the videos, but hit that subscribe button. Believe it or not, it does mean a lot to Chuggs and I. This is how we pay for food, how we put a roof over our head. And if you support my family, I promise you this, I'm going to bring commitment to excellence every single day. So here we go. The first player that they brought up was Yannick Ngakoue, and this is one of those trip down memory lanes because if you remember, he was a member of the Las Vegas Raiders back in 2021 when the Silver and Black had Gus Bradley as their defensive coordinator. But then, Josh McDaniels decided to trade him away straight up for Rock Ya-Sin. And at the time, I didn't mind the deal. I thought it was a pretty damn fair trade where you found a corner that needed to stay healthy in order to be good. Unfortunately for Rock, was never really able to stay healthy, and I think it's one of the reasons why he just signed to a contract probably just a few weeks ago. Has had only 4 sacks last season in Chicago, and one of the things that I used to always say with Ngakoue was this is a dude that gets 8 sacks every single season. I will say that he slowed down a little bit last year, but also the Bears added a lot of talent at the defensive line position, so that took away from some of the snaps that he could get. In terms of why Bleacher Report thinks it makes sense for the Silver and Black to sign him, I'll let you see what they had to say. Bringing back Yannick Ngakoue, who was on the roster in 2021, would make plenty of sense. The 29-year-old had only 4 sacks with Chicago last season in 2023, but has been constantly productive in just about every other stop. He had 10 sacks during his lone season in Las Vegas and had 9.5 with Indianapolis in 2022. Ngakoue can be inconsistent as a run defender, but as a situational sack artist, giggity, he's one of the top options still available. He's already familiar with some of the Raiders' personnel, and he'd provide another veteran presence on the edge. So this is going to be the pinned comment here on today's show, and I want you to be the GM. B. Telesco, put his shoes on, and should the Las Vegas Raiders go out and sign Yannick Ngakoue? Give me a yes, give me a no. My answer after this YouTube ad break. My answer to this is yes, it does make sense for the Las Vegas Raiders to go out and bring in Ngakoue, though again, I'm not going to sit up here and say it should be a lot of money. I have said for a while, I want a Benson Mayowa type of role back in 2019 when Mayowa, all his job was, play 30% of the snaps, get out there on third down. That's what Ngakoue could do. Like, he is a get him out there on third down, get him out there in pass situations only, let him cook. Could be a solid player in the locker room, already does know some of those guys in there, was really close with Max Crosby, and I guarantee you Crosby would vouch for Ngakoue. Now, I don't know if he's going to be the player that he was back with the Raiders in 2021 where he had 10 sacks, but like, he's been in the league for so long that I just think people think he's a lot older. Dude's only 29 years old. You know what I mean? Like, he could still play in the NFL for another 3-4 years and definitely 1 or 2 at a high level. If I was Ngakoue, I would look at what the Raiders are building right now, especially on defense, and I would love the opportunity to join the silver and black again. Though I will admit, he would not be my top defensive end that I would target if I'm going to try to go out and find another DE that I can pair with this defense. The number one DE that I'm going to look at is Emmanuel Ogbah, who's got connections with Rob Leonard. He's got connections with Patrick Graham. He's got connections with a lot of these other players already on this Raiders roster. So if you're like, all right, I pick up the phone, I call Ogbah, he says no, well, then I'm going to look at Yannick Ngakoue. After that, then I'm going to look at Jerry Hughes. I also talked about Marcus Golden and Tyus Bowser on a linebacker video that I did earlier in the week. If you haven't seen it, go check that out, because then after these 3 names, this is then when I would probably start to look at, can this guy play linebacker? Can he also play edge? Which is why I decided to throw those 2 names in here. Coming up here next on the show, should the Raiders sign Jerick McKinnon, former running back of the Kansas City Chiefs? Has kind of bounced around on a few different teams, played for the Vikings, played for the San Francisco 49ers. Actually had the opportunity a few years ago, right when I moved down here in Dallas. It was, 2017, had the opportunity to meet Jerick McKinnon, and I couldn't believe that he was the exact same size as me, and I'm like, that guy's playing in the NFL. That is bananas. Something else that's bananas, a good deal. And if you want to get your hands on the Raiders draft hats from this season, go to chatsports.com/Raiders hats. They got tons and tons of hats on sale, though I will admit, those are going quick. Chuggs and I love this corduroy hat, which I actually just got this one, and it's fresh. I'm not going to lie, it's probably Alex's favorite hat that I wear because it just looks a little bit, it's a little bit fancier. It's a nice color. Chatsports.com/Raiders hats is how you can get your hands on that. They got snapbacks. They have fitted hats. They have trucker hats. They have, which I actually do really like, these salute to service hats. So to Gunny, these are 100% on sale. There's a bunch of salute to service hats that are on sale. The next hat that I'm going to show you, I'm going to be real. I'm not cool enough to rock this hat. There are certain people that are, like, I could see Wasted. He could rock this hat. Chuggs, no chance. Like, the hat that I would look good in is probably one of these. But bottom line, we have hundreds, and I'm talking hundreds of hats available. Chatsports.com/Raiders hats is the link. So if you need some new headgear, all you got to do, go down on that link down below. It's going to be available in the comments and in the description of today's show. Let's go to another player here that Bleacher Report believes that the silver and black should go out and sign. It's Jerick McKinnon. And McKinnon could absolutely add a little bit more depth to this running back position. For those of you that watched the show on live on Tuesday, I ranked the Raiders running back room as the position group that I have the least confident in. Telesco has also kind of showed you that he wants to go running back by committee, and it shouldn't surprise anybody because, he said it 2 months ago that he doesn't believe in paying one running back, that he believes having a multitude of running backs. So does it make sense to bring in McKinnon, who also has some of that AFC West experience, most recently with the Kansas City Chiefs? Bleacher Report had this to say: Las Vegas will likely utilize a committee approach this year after leaning on Josh Jacobs as an every down option for the last 5 years. It wouldn't hurt to carry another back into camp. Competition that will feature Dylan Laube, presumed starters Zamir White, Alexander Madison, and Amir Abdullah. Jerick McKinnon would be a logical candidate for a couple of reasons. He spent the last 3 seasons with the rival Kansas City Chiefs and would bring some divisional familiarity to the proverbial table. Wow. He has also thrived in a pass-catching role in Kansas City. Adding McKinnon would give Las Vegas another option for the third down role and a little insurance in case Dylan Laube isn't ready to contribute right away. So that's what Bleacher Report had to say, and I like doing shows like this because here's the thing. Bottom line, just because somebody puts it out there, they don't cover the Raiders like I cover the Raiders. They don't cover the Raiders like other content creators do. And when you spend as much time covering this team from top to bottom, everybody that's watching the show live right now is going, if the Raiders signed Jerick McKinnon, that would make absolutely no sense. And I kind of agree. Like, yes, I would be interested to talk about it on the show. It would almost kind of remind me when the Raiders signed Amir Abdullah, which I will say, if you remember when they first signed Amir Abdullah, we went live. A few hours later, they ended up trading for Devontae Adams. That would be electric. But also, it would be like when the Raiders signed Kenyon Drake when they already had Josh Jacobs. I'll say this, signing Jerick McKinnon makes 0 sense for the Raiders because why am I going to invest in a position that I don't really feel like you're helping me all that much? Is Jerick McKinnon just not Amir Abdullah? Like, Amir Abdullah's better in kick returning game. Yeah, McKinnon might be the better pass catcher, but like you already have Jerick McKinnon. His name is Amir Abdullah. You already drafted Dylan Laube. And like from top to bottom, I don't understand why Bleacher Report put McKinnon in this video / put him in this article. It just does not make a lot of sense. So I'm going to say no. The Raiders should not sign Jerick McKinnon. Coming up next here, though, should the Silver and Black sign Adoree Jackson? And this has been a name that I have brought up time and time again on this show. And when you talk about Adoree Jackson, the Raiders, they drafted 2 cornerbacks on day 3, DeCamerion Richardson, MJ Devonshire, one out of Mississippi State. Devonshire is coming out of Pittsburgh. Jackson played with Patrick Graham back in 2021, and it was by far the best season that he's had. Over the past 2 seasons, he's battled some injuries, and really not going to offer you anything in special teams anymore, but does have that versatility and that ability to play inside, outside. So the Raiders, who want more versatility, could do that. And Jackson would provide a little bit more stability to a very young cornerback room and would be able to provide more competition. If Adoree Jackson's healthy, it would be a good move. But can you rely on him to be healthy? Bleacher Report says Adoree Jackson would make a lot of sense as a post-draft addition. He spent a year under defensive coordinator Patrick Graham when both were with the New York Giants. He's also an experienced starter who can upgrade the level of camp competition. Jackson started 36 games over the last 3 seasons and did not allow an opposing passer rating above 100 during that span. He might not walk in and take a starting job, but he could push players like Richardson and second-year man Jacorian Bennett. I'll tell you this right now, he is 1,000% going to push those other players, and that's what I want. I want more competition in my cornerback room, and I do think that signing Jackson makes sense for the Raiders, especially because if you miss out on other free agent corners, like I know when Antonio Pierce said finding a cornerback 1 was a priority, and there are some cornerback ones out there that are absolutely still a priority. And if you miss out on those guys, well, then you could look at a dude like an Adoree Jackson as a cornerback 2, pair him with a Jack Jones, let them compete. But, like, I will continue to say if I can get Xavier Howard, that's my number 1 fit based on this team and based on the personnel we have. Stephon Gilmore, name up there. Steven Nelson, name up there. If those 3 guys all say no, then I pick up the phone and I give Adoree Jackson a call. And if he says no, then I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to call Patrick Peterson and see if he's available. I know that the Raiders' corners can be good. And I know that it's important to get some of these younger guys some of that extra playing time. That way they can develop and hopefully turn into a good young defense. The problem is, if it's week 1 and we need to win right now, outside of Nate Hobbs, outside of Jack Jones, I don't have any confidence in any of these other guys to be able to step up and provide solid snaps right away. So if you could pick only 1 to sign, because the Raiders right now, as it stands, have only 1 open roster spot. I'll be real with you, though. I would bring in Yannick Ngakoue, and I would bring in Adoree Jackson. If you told me, Mitch, what if you could bring in more than 1? Those are the 2 names that I'd be picking from. Yeah, I know I got to move on from somebody, but there's some names out there that I don't think it'd be all that difficult to move on from. But let's play a game here. If you could pick only 1 to sign, are you going to go with Adoree Jackson, Yannick Ngakoue, Jerick McKinnon? Let me know down below. For me personally, this is how I would rank them. I'm still going to go Jackson at number 1. Ngakoue is going to be number 2. And then at number 3 is McKinnon. Bottom line, corner is a bigger need. I might make the argument that Ngakoue might make our defense a lot more intriguing because then I would still hope that we would add a corner. But man, oh man, both of these guys on our defense, I would love to see that this upcoming season. What up, Sancho? You got me in the duck race. I sent 10 but didn't hear my name. Could be my shitty internet. Raiders! Sancho, I do believe I have you in. Yes, you are in. Right now, the names that I have in are Navman, Guevara, Brandon Higgins, Salvador. I think Salvador Mena might be one person. It is, you know what, I'm going to give you, I think I did Salvador and then Mena. We're going to count it. Yoda Jenkins, Scott Eckert, Sancho, Jesse Navarro, Ron Raspberry, Noah Santana, Julia Zapata, Justin Gilbert, Timothy Ostering, Salvador Luna, Rob Fravor, Luis A., Luis Rod, Frank A., Rick Hand, Ultra VAB, Dungeon Fitness, Charles G., Richard Renz, Amy Husker. Those are the people that I have in the race right now. Which, again, $10 Venmo to get in for a chance to win. Right now, it's $190 after Dustin Campbell said, you know what, Mitch, give me 2. I got Dustin Campbell in twice, which means now $10 Venmo to win $190 here on the Raiders Report. 190. Can we get 2 more people in? Can we get 2 more people in? I think that we can.
Who's going to be the last 2?
Who's going to be the last 2 people that get in this race? David Vergara is one. I need one more.
One more person.
David Vergara, you, sir, are in. And then I think I just got one more. Frank Mendez.
Let's go.
You, my good sir, are in, which now means $10 Venmo to win $200 here on the Raiders Report.
$200.
$200 also. Frickin' Jimenez, you in? Frickin' Jimenez is in. You in. Oh, wait. Anthony. This is an interesting name. Anthony, how do you pronounce your last name? Jeremy, how would you pronounce this last name? Gentile.
Gunthle.
Huh? Gentile.
Gentile.
Gentle?
Gentile.
Gentile? Okay. Gentile. What?
Show me your Gentile. Your Gentile.
Show me your Gentile. Your Gentile. Show me your Gentile. Your Gentile. What? What's great is there's probably like 90% of the people that have no idea what that song is. My dad, 1,000,000% is one of them. He's like, let's just get to the duck race here. Quit playing with your Gentile. And let's get to the duck race here.
All right.
You ready?
I think we have everybody in.
All right, I think we got...
Or forever hold your pieces.
Or forever hold your Gentile. All right, let me send this over to you. Which blah, 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 blase, blah. All right, so that means right now, winner would get $210 if my math is mathing correct. 210, does that seem accurate? Oh, wait. Rustin Long says, wait. In Rustin Long. That's 43 people now. Oh, wait. Should I send you? I should send you it without the numbers, shouldn't I?
Oh, it's okay. I can do it either way.
Oh, you're good then. Though the numbers, though, they don't even look like that they're up there.
No. That's what I was saying. It doesn't. I can copy it without the numbers.
I never knew that. That's pretty neat. All right, I think we're good. We got 43 people in. Let's run this thing. Yeah, I mean, the Kentucky Derby was just the other day, so I feel like we just got to keep going with the horses. Though
I like this one more.
There's certain races that I'm actually okay with you doing every time. Like, I'll always say the OG Duck race is a good one. But then, like, the races that you literally never know who's going to win is when it's at its best. Raider Josh Chuggs said, get me in. And then also Crash Dog wants another one. So that's now 45 names. 45, which that math ends up being 225 to the winner. 225 to the winner, I want to say, yeah.
45 times 5.
225 it is.
I think you're right.
I think I am right. Holy shit. All right, wait, one more.
F that teacher who told you wouldn't pass.
Dungeon Fitness. Yeah, Mr. Fleming, not a fan. I hope he is watching.
Copy.
Though I will admit, I had a bunch of teachers. They were like, this guy, he's never going to do anything with his life. I'll be real with you. If I didn't find YouTube, I don't know what I'd be doing. I know I've made that statement more than once. Man, we got to add a few more here. Aaron Winnick is in twice. Also, Aaron, I need you. I don't know if you've done this yet, Aaron. I need you to message me back. I messaged you. I need your address. I've been trying to send your jersey.
I think he sent it to me.
He sent it to you?
Yeah.
Oh. Then I might have documented it somewhere, but I'm just going to send it to you again. If you can send me your address on Venmo. I have your I'm Punchy 33 jersey signed, and we're going to send it back to you.
Was it? Maybe it was.
Aaron's I'm Punchy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. No, he didn't send it. Maybe it's.
So I need, just send it to me.
Maybe it was on IG.
I don't remember. I just don't have it, and I've been trying to send out the jersey, and our shipping department was like, hey.
Yeah, here we go.
Gary Chuggs wants two.
I have it. Let me send it to you.
All right, Gary Chai needs two, which means now we are at $250 to the winner.
There you go.
Gary Chai. Now that means $250 is going to the winner here. This one's going to be electric, which shout out to all y'all for showing out here, because Chuggs and I at the beginning of the show, we were like, I want more people. All right, yeah, I got his address now.
All right.
I think one day I'm just going to show up at somebody's doorstep and be like,
So winner gets $250.
winner gets $250. Yep.
All right.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's ride. Winner gets $250. And out to the early lead was Amy. Now it's Charles G. Followed by now, I'm going to say Ultra VABs right there, though. Julio Zapata. Jesse Navarro, is that who that is at the very, very top? Another James Guevara. Ron Raspberry from the very back. Richie's right in the middle. I think he's going to get lost. Who's this? No Santana from the back rope? I'll tell you what, if it ended right now.
Jesse Navarro.
Navarro, though, no Santana. I actually like where Raider Sancho is. I actually really, really like where Crash Dog is.
Crash Dog!
Julio Zapata's got the lead. Also, if you see Mena, M-E-N-A, that's Salvador Mena. Noah Santana, dude, I don't know who's going to win. Ultra VAB's got the lead. Somebody needs to kick it in here. 3, 2, 1.
90!
Man!
93! Out of nowhere!
Dude, I'll tell you what, that one was a back and forth race. But here's the real question. Who's getting the butthole pick?
Oh, let's see.
Who's getting the butthole pick?
Julio Zapata, very close second. But I feel like second, I don't know. Is it me or does it look like Eckert would be second? It is Eckert fourth.
I agree with you, actually.
Right?
Though, what happens when they were running the race and if his head was like this? And the other horse's head was...
Maybe.
I mean, it's close. Anthony Green, you got in too late. I sent you back that money, so please confirm with me.
Salvador Luna.
Salvador Luna.
With
I feel like I can't send somebody with the first name Dungeon a butthole pick.
With the bunghole peak.
Dude, I can't find this name. Nah, man, where you at? There he is. Oh, yeah. Dude, he was the first one that got in. Congrats to 93, Navman. Navman, if you can please confirm with me down below that you just received $250, that would be much obliged. Much obliged.
And as always, we're about to head out, but make sure
Dude,
you hit that
lot of good games tonight.
Make sure you hit that sub button, and we have the lovely Allie Barefoot going live on Celtics at 5:30. So in
Bro, that's
40 minutes.
40 minutes from now.
What Allie, what are the deals because I know Ron Raspberry, a couple Raider fans have been kind of going over there to Celtics. What are some of the deals that y'all offer, that you're offering tonight?
Well, we've had a green team going on with like 100 names on it, and we're giving that away tonight.
Okay.
To whoever super chats the most.
Uh-oh.
It's got over 100 Celtics Today subscribers on it, so that's always fun. We've got 2 new items that we're giving away, one with a raffle and one with a bang.
Wow.
I mean, it sounds fancy.
It does sound fancy.
And they always like to get down over there. Allie Barefoot, Mr. Tyler Smitty, both going to be rocking and rolling with the C's today, and I think it should be a good game. Celtics, Cavs, even though Smitty told me confidence level over 100 with the Celtics beating the Cavs today, I always do feel like game 1 is that one where the Cavs know they're going to be outmanned and outmatched. They're going to come out firing in game 1. They're going to be all guns a-blazing game 1, trying to steal that first game, get a little bit of a head because they know the Celtics are going to win. At worst, I think the Celtics lose in 7.
Yep.
So they're like, we need to spend every game like it's a game 7. So I think the Cavs are going to try to make it close. If the C's win tonight, I think the C's win bigger tomorrow. But game 1, I think it's going to be close.
I just don't think the Cavs are anybody can win a game.
Now,
anybody can win a game.
The one thing that is going to hurt that I think, and I'm not a hoop head like Allie and like some of the other guys in the office. I'm a very casual, especially when my team's not good. When the Rockets are one of the worst teams in the NBA, I tend to watch a little less.
That's fair.
But I do know the Cavs have a couple really good big men.
Yeah.
Celtics missing their big man right now in Kristaps Porzingis. Could that come into effect? Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley in game 1. I don't know who the C's are going to match up with them down low. Al Horford, a little bit of an older guy. Jarrett Allen, I don't know.
Get it done though. Like Al Horford is like, I'm trying to think of somebody that you're just like, that guy should not still be able to play. And he won a national title in college at 2006.
Yeah,
Florida.
I think he was bunkmates with Aaron Hernandez.
Christ. Him and Joakim Noah, man. Crash Dog says, I will be there, Allie. Navman, I know, is a big fan of the Celtics channel now. Punchy said, do we have a Heat channel? We do have a Heat channel. It's run by Nick Roloff. If you want to go check that one out. Like, if you guys have a favorite sports team, right? Like, obviously, like I run the Raiders show here at Chat Sports. We're trying to make content for every single, like, major sporting team out there. So if you're a Laker fan, if you're a Heat fan, a Celtics fan, a Knicks fan.
DM James Yoder.
I mean, people ask all the time, can I work? Can I join the Raiders Report?
My buddy who's
the easiest way to join the Raiders Report is also do an NBA show.
My buddy who's a huge MMA fan, UFC guy, has been begging me to ask James about starting a UFC channel.
I mean,
I told him
I have a little bit of pull, but not. I mean, it's ultimately comes up to them.
I kind of told him, I was like, it would be a very much test out, and it would be, you can't expect a lot for the beginning, or if anything.
Yeah, I mean, the watch parties I feel like would do well. Like pay-per-view, like, I mean, I feel like people would watch to just hear what you had to say about the fight. So, like, how would you do play-by-play for a fight?
I mean, it would
punch, kick, takedown. Type those P's. Knockout.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot more you could do. But, all right, y'all. Chuggs and I, we're going to head on out of here. We are...
Oh, Crash Dog saying, I'll be there for Allie.
Yep. Crash Dog said, I'll be there for Allie. Navman said, got the Venmo. Oh, boy. Allie is going to enjoy that. LOL. So, Navman, are you a Celtics fan? Honest question. I think Navman said that he started rooting for the Celtics now.
Navman said, won the duck race. Allie, get ready.
Oh, God.
If Navman sends that 250 that he just won on Celtics, I say we get him a 93 Navman Celtics jersey. I mean, you'd have to wear it, though. Okay, I'm just saying. So she does the Celtics jersey thing, too. She's only got one jersey. That's all I'm going to say. Got to get another one. I'm in, dude. I'm down. I'm down to clown. All right, y'all.
You never know.
We got to get on out of here. I'm going to watch some Celtics basketball. I might even make a few deals over there before I get on out of here. Maybe might make a few deals while I'm over there before I get on out of here. A lot of good basketball tonight from me, from Jeremy Chuggs. The next time that you're going to see us live here on the Raiders Report, Thursday, which we thought the schedule was going to be released then. I don't know if the schedule is going to be released on Thursday anymore. It's kind of rumored that it might be next Thursday.
I think it's next Thursday.
Next Thursday?
From what Harrison told me, that the Saints are having a competition to predict the schedule, and the deadline is next Thursday.
Probably going to be next Thursday.
Yeah.
Damn. Brutal. Crash Dog, the UFC has a Twitch account, and they do a play-by-play that is very successful. Okay.
I don't know.
We'll have to look into it, Crash Dog. I appreciate that.
I told him he could be the next Mott. He could just do at-homes and be under the Chat Sports umbrella.
Though his super chat is if you send in 100, he's got to punch himself in the face.
50, I'll put myself in a chokehold.
Every 20 is an arm bar.
Rear naked.
Could you imagine if you sent in a 50 and you see this guy choking himself out? He just like wakes up 10 minutes later. He's like,
oh,
I tapped.
Nunez won the fight.
I tapped. Holy shit. All right, we got to get out of here. Peace out. I'll see you guys Thursday.